Factors, and thanks for joining me today. I'm Tami from stampwithtami.com, and I am here to have a little fun with you today. From my swap cards from convention video, this was your #1 pick, was the beautiful bleached flower from the Remarkable You stamp set. This swap card was originally created by Rachel Durtschi, and I hope I'm saying that right, Rachel. It is absolutely beautiful, and I was really excited to do it with you, so I'm sure you can't wait to see it in action. Let's get started. So here's Rachel's card. It is just so beautiful. So cool. I'm just going to zoom in here a little bit so you can see it in detail. She used the Night of Navy on the background of hers, and I thought it would also look I thought these colors would look beautiful together in Blackberry Bliss, so I'm going to shake it up a little bit and change the color. This stamp set is called Remarkable You. Stampin' Up puts it out. It's a beautiful sketched line art stamp set. Both of these boxes are the same set. So we'll be using this flower for today's card. We're going to start with some heat embossing, so I'll be using Versamark ink. Ink up that flower and stamp it on our cardstock. And if you're new to my channel, thank you for subscribing. You can get all the measurements, supplies, and information on this card on my Stamp with Tami blog. And you can get right to this projects page simply by going to this URL or clicking in the link in the YouTube description below. Or if you're on YouTube, just click right on this video. I've just folded a piece of scrap paper that I just keep handy from my printer in half, and I'm pouring basic black over the top of that. Don't worry about the extra because it all goes right back in the jar when you're done. It's not wasted. Flake the back really good. Now, I forgot a step that's I think is really important on this particular card. And that is to wipe the embossing buddy over the cardstock. This is the embossing buddy here. Wipe him over the cardstock before you stamp, and that keeps the static down. You may not even be able to see this, but a couple of the little flecks of embossing powder are still stuck here. I'm nothing if not good at showing you the mistakes and how not to make it. Okay, I've got the heat emboss tool, and it's melting the powder, which is just one of my favorite techniques. So, wow. And then when we're done, it's raised up. Powder dries almost instantly, so we can get right to work with the bleach. That's right, I said bleach. Just straight out of the laundry room. I use lots of tools and cards from the laundry room, right? The dryer sheet. Now we're using bleach. I think I've even used spray starch before on ribbons. I've got an aqua painter here, and this is filled with Clorox bleach. Just straight up. You just screw this top off, pour it in. Now, normally I use water in these, so I would mark it once you put bleach in it. I would mark it because, I don't know, I just like to have it separate. And then I am just going to paint where we want the flower to bleach out. And this is where the magic happens. You can actually see the bleach lifting the color out of the flower. How cool is that? My recommendation would be to let this sit for a little while so that it completely dries, or use your heat tool again to dry it. I have one already dry, so I'm just going to jump right over to this one. This is what it will look like when it's done. Isn't that awesome? And then I'll just use the Stampin' Right markers to color it in. And I've got Daffodil Delight Crushed Curry, Old Olive. And I brought some Blackberry Bliss, which is the cardstock I'm using, just to touch up. A little bit of the bleach went outside the lines, so I used the same color marker just to touch that up. And just a couple of spots. See how that just blends right in. You don't even notice it's there. So I'm going to color the whole flower with the Daffodil Delight. Just a cool way to bring this light color on a dark cardstock. Do you remember I told you I'd show you why you wanted that embossing buddy? If you look real close here, you can see that there was a couple of flecks of embossing powder that stuck to my flower because I didn't use the embossing buddy to keep the static down ahead of time. So that's why you want to use it. Learn from my mistakes. Next, I'm using some crushed curry here, and this is really just to give it a little blended 3D effect. I'm really just highlighting a couple of sides of the leaves. Brings it to life, it makes it pop. We'll layer that on a Whisper White panel. I attached it at a little bit of an angle on the front. And stamping the words "You are remarkable" in black, and I used the angle to line up the words. And you can step it up like Rachel did using this beautiful ribbon. I'll put that in the supply list on the blog. I don't know which of these two colors I like better. I love them both. They're both very striking, and they both go great on the crushed curry. Let's take a poll. Which one do you like better? Night of Navy or Blackberry Bliss? I hope you've enjoyed this bleaching technique. Be sure to visit my blog for daily inspiration and hundreds more videos. Thanks for joining me today.